Hashtag Daily K. It's Saturday, April 6th, and I'm your DJ, Peter Bint. Neutro is a craze in Korea these days. We've talked about it on the show multiple times. It's a combination of retro and new. And from neutro fashion to neutro restaurants to neutro music and travel, the rusticness of the past meets the new of the present and captures people's attention. It's said that neutro has even made inroads into Korean historical dramas, and foreigners played a large part in the addition of neutro to these works. The new type of neutro historical drama has been created for foreign audiences who've become interested in the country and have then watched these dramas. Some say that such a change kind of distorts history, but the historical facts have not changed. It's just the wrapping paper has changed a little bit to make it more tasteful for foreigners. Well, today is Saturday. You may feel that it's a little different from usual, us broadcasting live, but it's only a slight change. This is Hashtag Daily K, and this is Peter Bint. Now, here's a hint on today's hashtag. Give it a guess via the YouTube live stream, the application, the website, or Kakao Plus. What do you call a thing, a work of art made about an event or a character in the fairly distant past for the TV or the big screen? B2B sounded like Backstreet Boys, according to Raul from Argentina, and I totally agree. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that could well have been Backstreet Boys if they could speak Korean. That was wow, and hopefully everyone's saying that. Wow, it's a live broadcast on Saturday. What are you doing, Peter? I don't know, orders from the top, but I do enjoy it, actually, because I was coming out of the house and my kids are still unwashed and unfed and everything. That's the hard couple of hours that my wife's got to look forward to all by herself. I do apologise, honey. I'll be back in a couple of hours to rescue the situation. But for now, I'm going to have loads of fun with our listeners, and let's take a look at some of the hashtags here. Johnny Tyler has got historical. You're halfway there. One more word added. That's all you need, okay? Keep it up. We've also got, what have we got? Guesses from Raul. Retro. Amy says the same, or maybe classic. Pasta Lover Carl says character or cartoon. Maybe my hint today, because it's the weekend, is a bit difficult. Siska saying yes, it is a hard hashtag. So think of the pieces of work to do with the past, usually like real events, like the Tudors was a drama on the BBC, which is an example of this. Kingdom recently on Netflix is an example of this. Daejangum from way back in the day, that was an example as well. Anyone guess? No? Is it too difficult? Historical? Beep. Will also saying retro from Canada. I'm just getting home. I'll let you off then. You haven't had time to do it. Siska from Indonesia saying character figure, historical figure, classic, historical something is right. Oh, we've got historical film from Pasta Lover, and Leon hits it on the head. Historical drama. Beep, 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 beep. Well done. That was my celebratory beep, if that exists. Gabby saying retro too. By the way, what do you guys consider retro music and oldies? What year? What decade? I'm guessing you got to go back to the 90s. That's my own personal opinion. So today it is historical drama, which can apply to historical drama movies as well as historical dramas. Does that make sense? Not really. Series, I suppose you'd say it in that way. And in Korean, there's one word for this, isn't there? Saguk. Saguk. That's a historical drama that you get on TV or on the cinema screens. I wonder, have you ever seen a historical drama? And if you have, did you like it? Or if you don't like them, what are your favourite types of drama? Do let us know. The most beloved historical dramas by foreigners was Daejangum back in the early 2000s, I believe, or late 90s even, which became so popular around the world that Daejangum Park was created here in Korea. And even in Iran, ratings hit 90% in 2008. That's insane, way higher than they were in Korea career, actually, and that was almost a decade after its original release. And the most popular sageuk, or historical drama of late, was the first historical drama produced by Netflix, Kingdom, which I watched the 6 episodes of. It kind of left it on too much of a cliffhanger for me. I thought it was going to be all contained within those 6 episodes. I feel cheated because now I've got to keep on watching. I'm hooked. And it may be a genre that is unfamiliar to foreigners, but through Kingdom, they created that little syndrome about the hats, didn't they? The kat. And some people were labeling that as G-O-D, God, or G-A-T, kat. Kat, as in G-A-T, is a little more closer to that, I suppose. And I want Korean historical dramas to develop into more neutral styles so that more foreigners, more people around the world can sympathize with them and pay more attention to the country and its history, because Korea's history is very old and very meaningful in this region. And in this sense, we've invited someone who's related to historical dramas in some way in part 2 today. Another hint is Mr. Sunshine. No, Lee Byung-won is not coming into the studio today. Unfortunately, he was a little bit busy, but maybe next time when we're on a Saturday, he'll pay us his lovely, lovely presence. What else have we got? We've got What's the Scoop in hour number 1, as usual on the weekends. We don't have our weekly wrap, although we might read a few messages from yesterday that we didn't get to in the past. Why don't we play some ITZY? I listened to this on the way here. It was on another station, and I just remembered Cedric's dance. Go and check it out on Instagram and Facebook. This is Dalla Dalla. So how can you tune in to #DailyK? There are so many different options for you. If you'd like to check us out on the FM dial, it's 88.7 if you're in Jeju City, 88.1 in Sogwipo, and 101.9 FM in Daejeong, all on Jeju Island. Right here in the capital of South Korea, Seoul, you can join us via terrestrial DMB, or you can be with us no matter where you are on the planet simply by downloading the Arirang Radio smartphone application, and you can also listen to us on TuneIn Radio. There's an option to stream us via arirangradio.com, our website. We're also doing a video stream on YouTube. Just search out for Arirang Radio there. And SiriusXM channel 144 is available in all 50 US states.
You want to message me? Go
ARIRANG. ArirangRadio.com.
Thank you everyone for tuning in for this historic day. It's the first day we've got the live video radio feed on a Saturday, and we'll be doing this periodically, and every single Saturday one show on Arirang Radio will flip open hopefully the YouTube video live stream, and you'll be able to see us on the weekend. It's especially for our listeners down in Jeju Island. A lot of people listen on the Saturday, so if you're in Jeju, send us a message and you could win some great prizes, some maps and postcards from the Voluntary Agency Network of Korea, VANK, a cyber diplomacy organization that aims to correct erroneous info about the country. You can send it in Korean and we will translate it for you as well. We do have our email address, which is dailykk@naver.com for any longer messages you want to send. We got Chantal on board from the Netherlands. It's been ages because of the time change. It's getting too late for you to listen. You say, wow, I actually managed to make it, Peter. It's been way too long. How have you all been? Missed you all, the listeners as well. And how come we're broadcasting on a Saturday, as I just explained? So hopefully from time to time you can tune in at least now. Leon saying that Dalla Dalla song reminded me of Honey G's Punishment on yesterday's Super K-pop. They had to dance Dalla Dalla as well, just like Cedric. Are they stealing our ideas, Leon? I want you to tell Sam, come on with some original dances. Like, I'd rather see Honey G do a bit of Girls' Generation or something like that, something old school. We do have our K-Patch segment as well on Thursdays now, so if you haven't been taking part, we'd love you to shoot a little video for us and then we'll show it alongside Alex's on a Thursday. Sometimes I will take part as well. So this week's theme on Thursday is going to be the Hanok village, where there's lots of traditional Korean houses, but obviously that's not available in every country, so we've thrown it open. If me and Alex were to come down to your ends, what would you want to show us? Some touristy attractions, But Carl was saying there's no tourist attractions where I live, just some trees. Anything interesting or even boring and mundane that you just want to show us, which really kind of represents where you live, that would be fine with us with a bit of commentary. Send it to us via Kakao Plus. So add us on Kakao Talk. It's Daily K, one word, and no hashtags. So that is absolutely fine. What shall we do next? Let's play a couple of songs. And on the weekends, if you have been listening before on Saturdays and Sundays, we do Yesterday, Today first, and then What's the Scoop a little later, which is not too dissimilar from K-Stream. Here's some Mamamoo up next, Starry Night, or Pyari Pinnanumpam, and then 17's Home. Yesterday, Today. Our trip down memory lane on this day in Korea's history. It's April 6th, and the year we're going back to today, we don't know. It's way back when, and there's no accurate date here. So, today, though, is known as Hanshik, one of 4 major traditional holidays in Korea, which is no longer really celebrated, but it's only third after New Year's Day, the lunar calendar, Chuseok, and then Tano as well, that we sometimes talk about on the show. Hanshik is probably actually the 4th out of those, and it doesn't mean Korean food, which you'll usually hear Hanshik to define, but here the shik does mean food. The Han means cold. In Korea there are 24 seasonal terms, and of which the 105th day after the winter solstice, which is today, is called Hanshik, because traditionally you weren't allowed to eat cooked food. It had to be cold. One of the most important events for Hanshik is Polcho, and that's when you go to your ancestral graves and cut the grass or trees and clean up the area, which is said to signify the end of the cold winter. Hanshik is often said to be the same day as Cheongmyeong in Korean seasonal terms, so sometimes they're combined together, Cheongmyeong Hanshik. And in the past, when farming was the way of life, this time of spring was very important, so there was a superstition that thundering on Hanshik Day would not only lead to a bad harvest, but also an unfortunate event in the country. But to be honest, yesterday was Arbor Day, right? If you planted a tree, you'd want rain today. Whether it should rain or shine, though, today, I think it's a little ironic that these 2 days now fall so close together.
I'm in London.
I'm in Australia.
Tokyo.
The Philippines.
Finland.
Indonesia.
New York.
Arirang Radio.
Now live in Seoul.
That was Kain with Piona or Bloom. Everybody loving that. Gabby having a particular moment. You're my wonderland. Am I having a moment as well? I'm probably having a breakdown with that singing, aren't I? Maybe next time with Cedric, when we lose a music challenge, instead of the dance, we could do the singing, which would perhaps unbelievably be even worse than my dancing. We've got Tiger Blue Eyes saying, Guyan, yeah, baby, you should have her on the show, Peter. I would love her on the show. Guyan, if you're listening, you can come in now. In fact, we'll just cancel today's second half guest and get Guyan in. Or have you both in the studio all together and have a little party. I'm sure she's not listening. Maybe had a heavy night last night. Who knows? We've got a bit of talk about the foods that you could eat on this day, Hanshik then. Amy J saying if it's got to be cold, maybe ice cream. I'm not sure if ice cream was around then, although I had a delicious cookies and cream and caramel creation yesterday from the 31 flavoured ice cream shop in their new waffle cones, which taste so good. Even if you get a cup of ice cream now, they give you a waffle in the cup. I don't think there's a choice. You can't take it out. I guess you could say I don't want it, but you're still paying for it at least. So it's interesting, isn't it? We've got Gabby as well saying retro. For me, you were talking about Neutro in the opening, is from the 80s and times like that. But sometimes Arirang Radio plays songs released about 7 years ago and they're considered oldies. Yeah, it's all about perspective, isn't it, I suppose. So you'd have to say for younger people, yeah, maybe more than 5 years ago is a real oldie song. But for people like me and you, Gabby, yeah, the 80s, the 90s, that's how far you've got to go back. Robert has got a messaging on YouTube saying hello from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Since Dao Shabet is no longer with Happy Face Entertainment, a full 6-member comeback will be very difficult. It will come down to money because Tiger Blue Eyes, I should say, was saying, do you think they're going to come back? Fingers crossed. Let's wait and see. I hope that no more groups disband. That's what I want, right? Today's hashtag is historical drama or saga. We'll do a couple of the messages right now. Leon saying, my favorite is Empress Key. I really love Haji Won's acting in the drama, and I love the soundtrack as well. Didn't get to see any of that Empress Key, to be honest. Gabby saying, I love historical dramas, but I call them period dramas. Yeah, that's what we say in the UK as well. I think that's totally fine to call a Korean historical drama a period one as well. Amy J saying the one where the girl falls into the water was good also. What one are we talking about there? By historical drama knowledge, maybe not as good as it should be. Rao saying historical dramas in Argentina are the Syria Algo Habran Hecho por la Historia, tells the first 100 years of Argentina's history. Wow, from 1810 to 1910. That's not bad at all. Pastor Lover saying, I always get ads for historical dramas from China. They look interesting, but Leon says he saw news that China is banning all historical dramas for a while as they claim that history and facts are twisted for the shows. Goodness gracious, they wouldn't be liking this whole new trend in Korea of catering to foreign fans with a bit of bending of the rules. Luckily, we don't have to, succeed to those rules. We're going to play some Busker Busker up next and get to What's the Scoop, which, if you haven't listened on the weekend, is my look at my social media timelines to see what was interesting and career-related for the rest of our listeners. Here's Pokot Ending, Cherry Blossom Ending. What's the Scoop? The time on the weekends where I take a look at my social media timelines, which sometimes have some interesting posts from friends or links to news articles that I thought, hey, our listeners should know about this. Before we get to that, though, we found out the reason why on today, which is traditionally known as Hanshik, and that doesn't mean Korean food, it means cold food today, the reason behind why you needed to eat cold food. It was because back in the olden days, fire was a very important and difficult to maintain resource in terms of the fuels and stuff like this. So for one day, which was Hanshik today, you would not have your fire burning, and that's why you simply couldn't have warm food. So you could eat food that you'd cooked the day before, or you could eat fruits and vegetables raw, and that would be fine. But one day you'd just let your fire kind of rest, and then you'd start it again from tomorrow. Very good question, Pastor Lover. You had us all stumped for a little while, but now I feel like I've learned something today. Fantastic. We got a couple of stories to do in part one of What's the Scoop, and then I'll go on to part two, another two stories. The first one was yesterday. I mentioned it on our YouTube live stream, like, what's all this buzz around Blackpink? Because I suddenly heard from somebody that they'd got a record for reaching, I think, 10 million views in the fastest time ever. They were number one in charts around the world on iTunes. Our sound engineer told us that. And I was like, wait, why is this not bigger news? And the reason is Blackpink actually called off their press conference for this new album, which was scheduled to start yesterday at 11 a.m. And it would have been a much bigger deal. Kills This Love is the track. It's an amazing track, an amazing video, by the way. Check it out. But they did this out of respect for the huge fire that we mentioned on the show yesterday, which had engulfed South Korea's eastern coastal region, including the Sokcho area, and I think it's Kosong out there as well. And the damage that has been done was startling. So they said, we made this decision to share the pain of the residents of Gangwon province in the wake of the blaze in Kosong and Sokcho. With all our heart, YG extends its constellations to all of those who work laboriously to extinguish the fire. And so that's why they cancelled their press conference. When there are terrible tragedies in Korea, it's a very sensitive thing to continue on as normal with entertainment shows and even press conferences like this. So I think YG were just being extra careful, and I think that was a good decision for them. And it didn't really affect them because they got, it says here, 20 million YouTube views within 10 hours of the release. So well done for them for making the right decision morally and not just going after publicity here. The second story that I came across was a really interesting one. There's a group from China that's here at the moment from the, apparently it's called the Chinese Silicon Valley, and they are here to meet lots of people in Korea in power, including the mayor of Seoul, and they came over with a gift in hand, a portrait of him. But the problem is, it wasn't a portrait of him. It was a portrait of his future potential rival for presidency of South Korea, because Park Won-soo may or may not run for presidency here in a few years' time. It was the government of Gyeonggi province, the governor, I should say, Lee Jae-myung's portrait. So it was a bit of a faux pas there that they made, and it meant that Park Won-soo was left empty-handed. And so people were kind of saying, what is going on here? Were they doing this deliberately, or was it completely just an honest mistake? But he left empty-handed. When he received the gift, he didn't seem to notice, because to be honest, I've looked at the portrait and it looks quite like Park Won-soo as well as the other guy, so it's not a particularly accurate portrait, is it? I saw that news, and if you've seen it as well, tell me what you think. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time to talk about some more stories as well, but let's play some more music. This one's Pentagon's 빛나리 Shine. It's time to get to our last story for What's the Scoop today. Although Rao saying in Argentina even, the news of the fire from Korea was broadcast there. That's crazy. It was massive news across the world then. They are the biggest forest fires. We do get them from time to time, but not in this scale, so close to urban areas. We were talking yesterday with Seong about no plastic bags in the department stores and the supermarket chains here. And South Korea has now come up with a great thing. It's developed some biodegradable plastic bags. And these use fibers from wood and crab shells as well to make sure the plastic is durable and strong, but at the same time it biodegrades in just 6 months, which is unbelievable, isn't it? The Korea Research Institute of Chemical Technology announced on Thursday that this had been achieved, the improved tensile strength. So maybe we'll go back to using plastic bags, but that are fine for the environment, that can completely decompose in such a short time. Fingers crossed. Right? Tell us if you've got any song requests as well for today, as we're here in the studio and we can play them for you ASAP. Right now we're going to play some JBJ95. It's Awake. Arirang.
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 Arirang Radio.
Here on #DailyK, we really encourage listener participation, so here's how you can get in touch. Via the website, arirangradio.com, click on #DailyK, then click on Send Message. Via our free-to-download app, just search out Arirang Radio wherever you get your apps. There is a Send Message option as well. On Facebook and Instagram, what you need to search for is Arirang DailyK, all one word. Add us as a friend or follow us there. And then on Kakao Talk Plus Friends, you can add us by searching out Daily K, all one word, without the hashtag. And via that platform, you can send us your video and audio files, which we can play on the radio. Last but not least, there's the YouTube video stream, which goes out, and you can chat away on there. Just search Arirang Radio. We're back. We've got some song requests to play throughout the show. We're going to start off with Siskers right now. Big Flow, this is Stardom. Enjoy this one. This is Arirang Radio. We're coming up towards the end of hour number 1, but in hour number 2, we've got a very special guest coming in today. The hint that we've given so far is Mr. Sunshine, historical dramas. He's got a very big love for Korea as well. I'm sure you'll be swept away and impressed by how many great things he's done related to the country as well. So looking forward to speaking with our mystery guest in hour number 2. Last song of hour number 1 is by The Rose, Baby.